Let's learn about an important analytical technique, atomic absorption spectrophotometry, the principle and instrumentation. Atomic absorption spectrometry is the study of absorption of radiation by the ground state atoms when a sample is introduced into a flame. This absorption is characteristic of the absorbing element and hence it helps in the identification of that element. The intensity of absorption depends on the amount of sample introduced into the flame. Therefore, AAS is an invaluable tool for the qualitative as well as quantitative analysis of a large number of elements. The important principle of atomic absorption spectrophotometry is that when a metal salt solution is introduced into a flame, the solvent evaporates, leaving behind the tiny solid particles of the salt. These solid particles vaporize into gaseous molecules, which are then converted into gaseous atoms. Most of the atoms they remain in the ground state and they are capable of absorbing their own characteristic radiation. If light of this characteristic wavelength is allowed to pass through a flame containing these atoms, absorption takes place. The amount of radiation absorbed is proportional to the number of unexcited atoms present in the flame and hence is independent of the flame temperature. As against this, in flame photometry, the emission intensity depends on the number of excited atoms and hence on the flame temperature. Now let us look at the different components of an atomic absorption spectrophotometer as shown in this schematic diagram. Let's focus on the first component, that is source. The source of radiation is known as a hollow cathode lamp. It should emit the radiation which can excite the atoms of the element from the ground state to the excited state. The hollow cathode lamp is made up of the element under study. For example, if a copper is to be detected in the sample, the lamp will have a hollow copper cup as cathode. The cathode is protected in a glass shield. The tungsten wire functions as an anode. The two electrodes are enclosed in a glass envelope which consists of an inert gas like neon or argon at low pressure. When a voltage of 300 volts is applied between these two electrodes, the atoms of the inert gas ionize and the positively charged ions are attracted to the cathode. These fast moving ions hit the cathode surface and remove the surface metal atoms by a process known as sputtering. These metal atoms now collide with the highly energetic gas ions and get excited. These excited metal atoms emit their characteristic radiation, which is usually consists of a number of individual wavelengths. This radiation appears as a bright glow in the hollow cathode cup. Since each hollow cathode cup emits its characteristic wavelengths associated with the emission line spectrum of the metal. For example, for analysis of nickel, a nickel lamp is used. For the study of aluminium, an aluminium lamp is used. This is the disadvantage of this technique, that for every element to be analyzed, you need a different hollow cathode lamp. Now let's see how the commercially available lamp looks like. So this is how you will have to store several lamps depending upon the number of elements which we want to detect for the different samples. Now coming to the working of an AAS. So we have seen how the source, that is hollow cathode lamp, is useful in producing wavelengths characteristic of the element. The next important component of the AAS is the chopper. Chopper is a rotating wheel which breaks the beam of light coming from the hollow cathode lamp and produces a pulsating or alternative current in the photomultiplier tube. This current is then amplified as in an AC electronic amplifier. After this radiation enters into the flame which is produced by two types of burners, either a total consumption burner or a pre-mixed burner. This flame is produced by burning a fuel gas like hydrogen in presence of an oxidant which is usually oxygen. Here the sample solution is converted into tiny droplets by using a gas moving with a very high velocity, and this process is known as nebulization. The sample droplets are then spread into the flame and aspirated by oxygen to form solid particles. These solid particles vaporize and finally they get converted into gaseous atoms. These gaseous atoms in the ground state will absorb the radiation which is characteristic wavelength coming from the hollow cathode lamp, and then they will the next component is the monochromator. After this, the beam enters the transmitted beam. After absorption of the characteristic wavelength, the beam which is coming from the flame enters into monochromator, which disperses the beam into its individual wavelengths. When the monochromator is rotated, these wavelengths are focused one by one on the photocathode of a photomultiplier tube. The monochromator can be either a prism or diffraction grating. The next component is photomultiplier tube. Each wavelength which is incident on the photocathode of the photomultiplier tube produces an electric current whose magnitude is proportional to the intensity of the incident light. This electric current is then amplified. The intensity of the radiation normally corresponds to the most intense emission line of the metal that is measured. For example, copper shows an intense emission at 324.7 nanometer. So this wavelength is the one which copper atoms will absorb when a metal sample is introduced into the flame. The amount of light absorbed by the metal sample is given by the difference in the intensities of the transmitted light in the absence and presence of the metal atoms or sample. This difference in intensities is measured as the difference in the electric current produced at the photocathode of photomultiplier tube before and after the introduction of the sample into the flame. The concentration of the metal ions can be estimated using Beer-Lambert's law, that is absorbance is equal to epsilon C into L. The single beam atomic absorption spectrophotometer as described above has a few disadvantages also. The stability can be increased by using a double beam instrument. Okay, and it has several applications. That is, one is important is quantitative analysis of several elements. So friends, next we will see the working of other instruments in the series. Thank you.